Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go.
Surprise! Welcome back,
I wake
traders.
up
I
to
wanted to get into GameStop and AMC because there's been so much that has happened in the last week. And I wanted to start this by saying thank you. God bless you guys. I love you. Slap the subscribe button and let's jump straight into this. All right. You know how it is. We like to start with a fear and greed index because that gives you the sentiment of the market, whether you should be bullish or bearish. And crypto sitting in beyond fear. I can't even make up how fearful crypto is. And then stock market sitting in fear now, which is a good change from greed, showing that there is some opportunity in the markets. But GameStop, GME, there has been so much that has happened on this ticker, particularly in the last week that we've been gone. But we did have a thesis on this stock that played out in a different manner. Before I left last week, I mentioned that you could make this stair step to heaven, right? And you can form this double bottom. You have the bullish divergent bottom right here where you had the higher low, the equal low on this double freaking bottom. And it looks beautiful, guys. It looks Picasso. So I just want to give you guys an update on this, and then for me to give you guys an update on where I think it's going to go, right? Because double bottoms have a very particular nature about them, and you've played it out particularly well. But our thesis on GameStop for the last year, pretty much, it feels like, since June of 2025, has been this falling wedge. And you played it out to almost a T. But there was one kink in the thesis, is that I thought that you were going to go to make a lower low that would be bullishly divergent. You did not do that. You found a double bottom. Ryan Cohen absolutely slapped the ass. And then Michael Burry as well got into the trade, announcing a little bit of due diligence on his end, saying that he loves the direction that Ryan Cohen is taking this deep, you-know-what value company. And Ryan Cohen has even come out as recently as last week and said they're looking to change the game. They're looking to acquire a publicly traded company, which is fascinating to me in terms of everyone thinking about this as a brick and mortar dead cat or a zombie stock. This is far from, right? So the falling wedge on GME, for the longest time, you were within this trading formation, and you traded within this since June of the previous year, right? 2024, once you saw this crazy squeeze. And I wanted to emphasize this because yesterday or the day before, you broke back into this. And this was a big part of the thesis that we had, saying that you would come up, reject it, find a bounce off of this, which you pretty much did with this rejection here, and then blast back inside. And you have done that to the T. Now, what I'm watching here is bullish confirmation, right? This line that you have ridden not once, twice, three times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then rejected, and finally got to close back above with a beautiful wicking candle. And what I think is particularly bullish about this is the sentiment on the stock. I mean, you could say that this thing is running to 75 tomorrow, and I bet people would believe it. But beyond that, right, there's more than just that. Your monthly Bollinger Bands. This was a big point of contention that we talked about. The monthly Bollinger Bands being the tightest they have been, guys, ladies and gentlemen. The tightest they've been since September of 2015 or 2017, right? And when the Bollinger Bands are this tight, it does not mean that the stock is going to run in any particular matter. But what it does mean is that the stock is going to absolutely rip ass in one direction or the other. And so what I'm watching here is for volatility, right? For the kind of meme stock-esque volatility that we've become accustomed to throughout the years, right? 108% month, 1,600% month. If there was a stock to do it, this is it, right? And this is the time. This is the time that it would do it. So what I'm watching for here is you've just now crossed the monthly RSI band for the first time since back when you ran all the way up to $36. Pretty much marked your low here. You crossed it and then ran You failed to cross it here in September. You've now flirted with it again in February. Now you're printing a little bit of a doji candle here, or a inverted bullish hammer. But what I'd like to see is a close above your monthly midband on the Bollinger Bands, which currently sits at 24.67. We've got a long way to go. We're on the third day of the month. But I figured a very valid thing to talk about, as these Bollinger Bands are going to begin to expand, particularly if you can hold $25, guys. That is going to be so bullish on GME, right? So watching that on GameStop, hopefully that can help pull up AMC, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What I wanted to talk about, and what I thought was the most pressing thing for GameStop, is your breakout of the falling wedge, and finally some bullish price action. Kyle, I know you've been waiting for it forever. I love that, man. Thank you, Kyle. But you broke out of this falling wedge. Now, theoretically, right, off of the double bottom, the minimum price target would be taking the neckline here, which, right, you just retested. So the way that you want to see this is a neckline that you're going to break above, retest, and fly. Now, if you're looking for that perfect Picasso entry, today would have been it, right? I mean, look at your pitch perfect double bottom. Bam, bam. That's your resistance line. Break above it, retest, and then you send it. You're now in the process of potentially sending it, right? When you take that, you put it on top of the neckline. That takes you right around that gap fill, sitting at $28, guys. And I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, but getting back above 28 is going to be one of the most important stories on this chart. As you can see, 28 has been the point of control. Don't know what I'm talking about? Point of control is based off of the VRVP. Now, TradingView can be a little funky for me sometimes, so I'm hoping that it loads. Ha! It did load. Scroll all the way out. Nope, and I broke it. But if you have the point of control, it would tell you that right around this $26 to $28 level is where the most volume has been traded on the stock's history. As you can see, just visibly, right? Draw a horizontal trend line at 28. Look at the absolute catastrophes that ensue every single time. That is a touch off 28. Took you all the way down at $11. 28 took you all the way down to 15. 28 took you down to 18. 28 took you down to 20, right? And as soon as you drop 28 here, you knifed. So the fact that you are going into it should either get you so bullishly excited that you can't contain yourself, or it should get you in absolute fear. But one thing is for sure, I do think you're going to get there in this run-up, which is exciting for me. You already touched 26. Let's go into the daily on GME on Webull. The one thing that I would precaution you guys in, although the volume looks beautiful, right? Off the breakout, you saw an insane volume candle. And then slow and methodical, low volume selling pressure, insane volume, and then the same, right? What I would caution you is in this run-up, you've created gaps, two gaps particularly sitting at 21.25 and then 21.93. We know GameStop loves to run in the after hours. Sorry, I just drank some sparkling water. We know GameStop loves to run in the after hours. Hence, why you're leaving all these gaps. So almost all gaps fill on GameStop. They just always have, which is why we have the price targets on GME of $28.42, that first gap, the second gap sitting at pretty much $30 flat, and then your all-time gap, ladies and gentlemen, which I do assume is going to happen eventually, sitting at $73. When did that happen, you may ask? Whoops. That happened all the way back here in June of 2021, right? The insane run that Amy and GameStop went on, and then bam, right? share offering, or whatever it was that drew you down at 72.88 as your gap. So that's what we're watching for on the high side for GME. But it really genuinely looks beautiful. It looks nice. You're above your daily 200. You're above your 50. And you closed confirmation above your neckline, which is tremendous, guys. That means it's likely you play out this double bottom formation up to 28. What you do once you get there, hey, all hands off the table, right? I can't tell you what to do. It's not financial advice. All I can tell you is I love you. All right. You're potentially looking at the golden cross if you hold these levels, but that is our segue into something that I've been brewing and watching on for quite some time, and I wanted to keep you guys in the loop. AMC short interest, guys. This is seriously crazy because this is the highest short interest I've seen on AMC, Amy, our girl, since 2021, honestly. That is absurd. That is insane. 24.25% of the total float shorted, and we probably know it's probably more than that, right? So crazy to watch. Short interest ratio days to cover sitting at about 2.62, but that's because the volume is elevated at these lower levels as Amy goes down to touch this trend line. Now, what we've talked about was every single time you came down and you tap this trend line, it has relieved you in bullish buying pressure. So what I'm hoping to see, right, although not guaranteed because you've rejected the 9-day EMA, so it's possible you see a little bit more of a downturn here. What I'd like to see is a bid, right? And I haven't looked at it yet. I want to look at the daily time frame for AMC to see if you have any bullish divergence. This is completely on the cusp for you guys. And look at that, right? You do. So this is the kind of thing that you want to see from your bottom if you're looking at what is in fact your bottom. So we're going to move that around. And so you have a lower low in price, but at the meantime, you have a higher high consecutively, right, on the RSI, however you want to draw that trend line. That is a beautiful thing and a good sign for the buyers that the selling pressure is weakening here, as you can also confirm bias and see, right, doji, inverted bullish hammer candle, bearish spinning top candle. These are all not inherently bad candlesticks. They're really not. So the trend is your friend. You need to see some kind of green volume step in here. And you need to see a break of the 9-day EMA, right? Because you broke down from this flag. But yeah, what we're talking about on AMC, guys, on Amy, is we're talking about the 9-day EMA, right? You rejected it here, and you can see as when you cross above this, right, and you're able to hold it for an extended period of time, that leads to bullish price action, but it has been the case for Amy to just ride this thing down. So there's a couple things you want to see from a bottoming formation. You want to see bullish buyers step in, just like you did here, right? This kind of volume that's perfect, right? You want to see bullish volume. You want to see getting back above the 9-day EMA, and you want to see things like this, right? Signs of positive swings of momentum, like the bullish divergence, right, on the RSI. So that is the coverage on Amy. On the macro, right, you still have the opportunity of this potential falling wedge, right? And this is way bigger picture and a crazy trend line, right? Going all the way back to IPO, all the way back to February 2020, all the way back to 2024, right, during that crazy meme craze, and then all the way back to now. So what we're watching here is, if that is the case, it could bring you down to 122 to 120. And in my eyes, right, this is the lowest you've been on the RSI on the weekly time frame for quite some time. In fact, I'll draw a horizontal trend, and we're just going to look back, because throughout all of this selling pressure, all of the 2023, all of 2022, the only time you've been down here was March of 2020, guys. That is COVID, right? That is the absolute bottom formation on AMC's previous fractal, whatever you want to call it, right? Not financial advice. This bottom formation, that's how low the weekly RSI got. The time before that, the only time before that was 2017, guys. So I just want you to put that into perspective of just how close you could be to finding one of these bids, right? Because both times from the bottom, you found a 286% bid. And then the time prior, right? Although it seems minor or minute from the bottom, you found 100%, right? So these kinds of opportunities are hard to come by in the markets when something is this over sold on the RSI. And so that's what I'm watching here for AMC, that even though people say it's a zombie stock, dead cat company, right? Whatever you want to call it, the deep value at these levels of the biggest theater chain in the world give you a risk to reward ratio. And whether or not you're willing to take that risk is entirely predicated on your own balance sheet, your own lifestyle, right? But that is, as soon as these kind of bottoming formations come in, I mean, a wicked opportunity given, right? Given where you are in the charts, given the short interest, the highest I have ever seen it on this stock at 25% per the NYSE, right? This is self-reported. You can imagine what the not reported numbers may be, right? So GameStop is going to freaking moon, in my opinion, to the freaking moon. I am long this stock to the gills. I freaking love each and every single one of you guys. Trying to think if there's anything else that we didn't cover. IWM, I mean, you have a gap up here at the all-time high sitting at 269. You have almost like this rising wedge formation here where you almost broke out, came back down. So that's something to watch for some short-term downside, right? Taking that should take you into the 200-day EMA, sitting at 236, possible. It doesn't mean it's probable, but that is possible, right? Bitcoin absolutely knifing 72,000 today was the low so far. So disgusting to see. I know GME holds Bitcoin, but yeah. Yeah, and that concludes it, guys. I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you guys. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, God bless you guys. I appreciate people like Kyle and everyone else who reached out. I'll just go to the YouTube channel. I think Orion Paradise, if I'm not mistaken. Your channel. I'll go to Minimalist. In case you guys are wondering, Neo video is coming tomorrow. I love each and every single one of you guys. I'm glad to be back. Thank you. Only in Paradise, my man. The snowstorm was brutal. Yeah, it was rough. Storm was brutal. But to all of you guys, I love each and every single one of you guys. I appreciate everything. We just went live with memberships, which I have not announced what is going to be in there, but there will be things in there for you guys, whether it be independent trading courses. There's a couple things that I have worded in there, but genuinely slap the subscribe button. Get jacked. Get excited because we're back, baby. Love each and every single one of you guys. And remember, the best is yet to come, guys. Let's go. Woo!